So I left Mothercare in 2018. In 2020, I started a project as interim group strategy director for Selfridges Group, and I joined Selfridges on a fixed contract on the 3rd of February 2020. So at a time when the pandemic was a few cases in Wuhan and on page whatever it was 26 of the Daily Telegraph, and I thought, I'd spent 5.5 years in a pretty intense retail turnaround in Mothercare, being a very challenging period of my career, and I thought, I'm interested to do more work in retail, but I'm interested particularly to do it in a non-crisis environment. And in week 5, we all went home because of COVID and the stores closed. So, I was on the leadership team at Selfridges Group for about 7 months through that summer, and I was glad that I was there, and the way that I could contribute with the team to helping the business navigate through particularly that first 6 months of COVID. But it also reminded me of what was more important to me. And I realized that I kept coming back to the part of my role, the things I do that I really love is the coaching more than the strategy. Like I'm good and capable at the strategy, but I love spending time with people, helping them on their personal, professional growth. And I left the role in Selfridges at the end of September. And I thought, well, do I, go out into the market again and try and find my next consulting role, my next interim management role, or do I back myself and see whether I can make this coaching a go? The data was weak in terms of the volume of coaching I've been able to do over the past 18 months. But I think I had, for whatever reason, some confidence that I could make it work. So I decided at that point to start my professional training. So I started coach training in November 2020, which I did through the next sort of 9 months or so. And I also started to write the book. So I had been, for this 18-month period, I've been developing this idea, which is the foundation of the book. And that's what I've been working with my first coaching clients, my Mates Rates coaching clients on. And I thought, I like writing. I like the idea of publishing a book at some point. My experience from my PhD many, many years ago is how painful it gets if you get stuck in the middle, where you've gone far enough in that you can't give up, but you're far enough from the end that it's still hugely daunting. So I built myself a spreadsheet and set a target. And I said, I'm starting on the 1st of November and I want to finish the first draft by Christmas, which was a stupid idea. But at the same time, I did it because once I set my mind to it and I put my target on my spreadsheet, I couldn't not deliver it. So I had to deliver, 1,200 words a day. And I thought, they didn't have to be great words. They just have to be words. They just have to cover the paper. I'm sure there'll be some value in there somewhere. Once it's written, I'm going to show it to somebody and see whether they think there's anything in it. And so that was the beginnings of the journey of coaching and the book.
And just to give a shout out, we're now on the 25th of January. Your book came out on the 13th of January.
That's right.
It was,
yeah.
Which is the idea mindset. So tell me a little bit about it. Who is it for? What do you cover? What ideas are you trying to translate in that book?
So the idea mindset, and you'll hear some themes that we've talked about through my own career experience. So the idea mindset is to help you figure out what you want from work and how to get it in a 6-week journey. So it is a combination of some content, some ideas, some inspiration, but critically some exercises that you do as you go through the book. Okay. IDEA stands for identity, direction, engagement, and authenticity. So what it's saying is discover who you are, what you stand for, what your strengths are. That's your identity. Discover something about your long-term plan, to the extent you might have one, but also in the short term, how you make decisions, whether to go left or right when faced with a choice. That's your direction. To design a future that fundamentally you love what you're doing, that's engagement, and that connects deeply with your values and purpose, that's authenticity. And so for me, the identity and direction part really comes from my strategy background, where I worked with companies and individuals over the years to say, who are you? What are you great at? Where are you going? How are you going to get there? What's the plan? When are you going to do it by? What might trip you up? That stuff. The engagement and authenticity is, but what do you really love doing? What's you at your best? What really makes you care about what you're doing? Which for me comes back to the dancing. So there was a point where we were absolutely compromising money, career progression, different things to follow our own passion. And when I talk to people who are my coaching clients and they're going through this kind of journey, for some people that passion might be a cause. For some people it might be their children. For some people it might be, some other, longer term impact of something that they're doing. And going through this journey, it's helping you to work out what is right for you. So coming back to my job is to ask questions. I was saying to somebody recently about the book, it's quite different from a lot of self-help books, where self-help books often say, if I'll tell you how I live my life, and if you live your life like that, then you will also achieve riches and success. This book doesn't tell you what my day-to-day life is, neither would I recommend people follow it. It's about you asking yourself the questions of what really matters to you. So for example, there's a particular exercise in the book that talks about, if you don't have a specific goal in mind, I want to be running my own sustainable footwear brand in 10 years time, what are the kinds of things that are important to you? So the questions are things like, is it important to you to work in a team, or do you prefer working on your own? Is it important to you that you travel in the work that you do, or do you want to be staying at home? Is it important that you're doing one thing really well, or is it more important that you do a portfolio of different things? Is leaving a legacy important to you or not? So you go through these questions, and then by going through that, it causes you to start to see your choices in a different light.